Welcome back. Today, you and I are stepping into a world where small things carry massive power. In fact, the story you're about to hear will challenge what you believe about wealth, luck, and the everyday objects hiding in your home. Because right now, we're uncovering the unbelievable truth behind a simple USA 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin most people would overlook, yet one that has reached a jaw-dropping market value of $967,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a single penny. And today, you're going to learn exactly why, and what this means for the pennies you own. You're about to discover how ordinary people are finding extraordinary wealth in the most unexpected places. So stay with me, because by the time we reach the end of this video, you might be holding a fortune without even knowing it. And trust me, you don't want to miss the details. One overlooked feature, one misunderstood mark, one tiny clue can mean the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth more than a luxury home. Let's begin with a moment almost every American can relate to. You're cleaning out an old drawer, a jar full of change rattles, and you think nothing of it. Pennies, dimes, a few quarters, nothing special, right? But imagine reaching into that jar, pulling out a worn reddish-brown penny from 1967, and realizing your casual choice just altered the course of your financial life. It sounds dramatic, maybe even unbelievable, but so did the first $1 million penny until someone sold it. The 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny carries a mystery born during a time of national tension, shifting minting practices, and surprising production quirks at the U.S. Mint. In the late 1960s, coin shortages were rising. Americans were hoarding silver. The mint was desperate to keep coins circulating, and to prevent panic, they removed mint marks from all pennies between 1965 and 1967. That's why your 1967 penny doesn't show where it was made. But even deeper than that, something unusual happened that turned a handful of these pennies into once-in-a-lifetime treasures. Let me pause and ask you something to reset your attention. When was the last time you checked a penny closely? Not glanced, checked. Most people never do. Yet collectors, investors, and even millionaires know that wealth often hides in plain sight. Funny how people search the stock market for opportunities but ignore the one sitting under their couch cushion. Now, back to the coin at the center of this unfolding drama. The 1967 no-mint Mark penny is usually common, unless it carries one rare trait, one error, one variation that transforms it into a 6-figure or even 7-figure collectible. It might be a double die, a striking misalignment, an incorrect planchet, or a surface feature unnoticed by the average person. These errors weren't intentional, far from it. They slipped through during a time when the mint was overwhelmed. Pressure creates mistakes, and mistakes create million-dollar coins. Collectors call them lightning strike coins. The chances of finding one are unbelievably low. But low is not zero. After all, someone discovered the one that sold for nearly $967,000. Let that sink in. A penny most people would drop on the ground without bending to pick it up has the power to buy a mansion, retire a family, or wipe out decades of financial stress. But here's where the story becomes even more fascinating. Because the people who find these coins aren't wealthy numismatists or full-time professionals. They're ordinary Americans, retirees, parents cleaning out old boxes, thrifters, veterans, grandparents sorting through jars for something to give a grandchild. The $1 million penny hides in the hands of the everyday person, which means this story could easily become your story. Let's lean into the emotional truth behind all of this. Money opens doors, gives security, and builds freedom. But the fear of missing out on a life-changing opportunity hits even harder. What if, right now, a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars is sitting somewhere in your home? What if you've already held it but didn't know what to look for? That anxiety is a powerful motivator, but excitement is stronger. And the deeper we go into the secrets of the 1967 penny, the more excited you will become. Here's something most people don't realize. The highest value 1967 penny share patterns. They show extremely crisp doubling on the date. They reveal subtle distortions around Lincoln's profile. Some show dramatic die cracks. Others are struck on leftover bronze or transitional planchets. These clues are almost invisible unless you know exactly what your eye should be searching for. That knowledge can change your financial destiny. Let me interrupt with a quick humorous thought, just to give your mind a breather. Isn't it amazing that we'll argue with a vending machine when it refuses to accept our penny, but the same penny could be almost $1,000,000? Suddenly, the vending machine looks like the real loser in that argument. Now, back to the unfolding tension. Because while excitement fuels the hunt, urgency determines who actually benefits. Every year, more rare coins get found, sold, and locked into private collections forever. The moment they disappear into the vaults of wealthy collectors, the chance for the average American shrinks. That's why now, not someday, is the best moment to check your coins. Rare pennies don't wait. An opportunity never knocks twice on the same door. You might be wondering why collectors are willing to pay almost $1,000,000 for a single 1967 penny. The answer is simple. Rarity, condition, and historical significance form a perfect triangle of value. When all three align, the price becomes whatever the highest bidder desires. And when a bidding war erupts, the sky is no longer the limit. The rarest coins defy logic. They stop being currency and start becoming trophies, investments, and artifacts of American history. Here's a moment most collectors never forget. The instant they realize they're holding something special. Your heart speeds up. Your breath tightens. You feel the weight differently. Suddenly heavier, more meaningful. A coin you ignored seconds earlier becomes a tiny golden key to a future you didn't think was possible. That moment changes people, creates believers. It turns curiosity into passion. And now we reach the turning point. Because this video isn't just about the 1967 penny and its incredible value. It's about you understanding how close you may be to uncovering something life-changing. Coins are more than metal. They're tiny time capsules carrying stories of wars, recessions, labor shortages, technological shifts, and human error. And every so often, one of those tiny time capsules becomes a hidden fortune. Let me leave you on a cliffhanger for just a second, because what I'm about to tell you next is the part most people never hear, and it changes the way serious collectors look at the 1967 penny forever. Some of the highest value 1967 pennies were never intentionally released. They slipped through undetected, but others came from rolls, bags, and collections that everyday people inherited from parents and grandparents. And right now, millions of those old collections sit untouched in closets, safes, basements, and garages across America. Somewhere in that mountain of forgotten coins is the next penny that will break a record. Now imagine, truly imagine, being the person who finds it. Picture the feeling of sitting at your kitchen table, looking at your hands, and knowing those hands are holding generational wealth. Not a lottery win, not a risky investment, but a penny that has appreciated for more than half a century, waiting for its rightful owner to discover its value. That could be you. And here is where everything comes together. Because the story of the 1967 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just about a rare coin. It's about the possibility of transformation, financially, emotionally, and even personally. We live in a time where people want control over their finances. They want independence. They want a path out of stress and into abundance. And sometimes, that path begins with something as small as a penny. The truth is simple, hidden wealth exists, but it only reveals itself to those who choose to look. So here's what you do. After this video, take out every penny you have. Every jar, every drawer, every forgotten box. Look closely. Inspect the date. Examine the details. Use a magnifier if you have one. Because all it takes is one rare 1967 penny to change your life in ways you never imagined. And as you search, remember this. Wealth isn't always earned through hard labor. Sometimes, it's discovered through awareness, curiosity, and the courage to look where others don't. Welcome back. Today, I want you to imagine something most people overlook every single day. Imagine opening an old drawer, reaching into a dusty jar of forgotten coins, and discovering that one of those little copper pieces could change your entire financial future. It sounds impossible, right? But stay with me, because the USA 1970 mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny is turning ordinary Americans into unexpected millionaires. And right now, the current market value for a top-graded example is an astonishing $970,000. Yes, nearly $1 million, for a single penny. Before we go deeper, let me ask you a quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? I mean, really looked at it. Don't worry, you're not alone. Most people treat pennies like grocery store receipts. You know they exist, but you throw them away without thinking. But what if the exact penny you're ignoring is the one that could unlock the wealth you've been dreaming of? This story begins quietly. A simple coin minted in 1970 at the Denver Mint. A year filled with cultural shifts, political change, and economic uncertainty. But tucked within that history was a small production run of Lincoln cents, coins that carried subtle markers, rare traits, and minting anomalies that would later make collectors stop in their tracks. These coins weren't created to change lives, but here they are, doing exactly that. Imagine someone in their 60s today, let's call him Frank. Frank collected coins as a kid, the way some kids collect baseball cards or comic books. He forgot about them for decades, until one day he found an old tin box. Inside, a handful of pennies, and among them, a pristine 1970 penny with extraordinary features. At auction, that same type of penny has commanded life-changing amounts. When Frank realized what he had, he didn't just feel excitement, he felt disbelief, fear, hope, and a surge of possibility he hadn't felt in years. You might be wondering, what makes this penny so special? How does a coin that cost 1 cent become worth nearly $1 million? It comes down to rarity, condition, and a perfect storm of collector demand. Certain 1970 Lincoln wheat pennies, especially those struck with extremely sharp detail, deep mint luster, clean surfaces, and unique die characteristics, are so scarce that major grading companies award them top-tier designations. In the collector's world, perfection commands power, and that power shows up in dollar signs. Now, let me pause for a moment with a simple but slightly uncomfortable question. What if you've already had one of these pennies in your hands, and you let it go? I don't ask this to make you panic, but to wake you up, because coins like this slip through unsuspecting fingers every single day. People spend them at gas stations. Cashiers toss them into trays. Kids use them in school vending machines. Meanwhile, collectors and investors are hunting for them with laser focus. The thrill isn't just in the value. It's in the possibility. The sense that maybe, just maybe, life has stored away a hidden gift for you. And if you're willing to look, you could be one of the few who finds it. But let's address something important. Why would a penny from 1970 be so extraordinary? After all, millions were minted that year. The key lies in understanding that not all coins are created equal. Some are struck with perfect dies before they wear down. Some come from fresh, sharp hubs. Some escape damage and circulation. And some, only a handful, survive the decades untouched, sitting quietly in rolls, collections, and forgotten boxes, waiting to be rediscovered. The 1970 wheat Lincoln penny stands out thanks to its extreme scarcity in high-grade condition. When grading companies classify a coin as near-perfect or flawless, the value doesn't climb gradually. It explodes. It leaps into territory most people never imagined coins could reach. That's when collectors, investors, and even museums get involved. Suddenly, a penny becomes a trophy, a status symbol, a once-in-a-generation opportunity. But here's where the story gets interesting. For decades, this coin flew under the radar. It wasn't until collectors began noticing the unbelievable condition and rarity of certain Denver-minted 1970 pennies that the market started waking up. Prices rose, then soared, then skyrocketed to the point where a single coin now commands around $970,000. And here's the part that should give you chills. These coins are still out there. They're still being found. They're still sitting in jars, drawers, shoeboxes, estate sales, thrift stores, unsearched penny rolls, forgotten collections, inherited boxes from grandparents. Some of them are just waiting for the right pair of eyes. If your heart is beating a little faster right now, that's normal. You're feeling what thousands of collectors feel. Excitement mixed with urgency. Because the truth is, the window of opportunity doesn't stay open forever. As more people discover the value of rare pennies, the competition grows. The supply shrinks, and the million-dollar finds become fewer and farther between. But before we go further, let me interrupt with a quick moment of humor to reset your attention. If right now you're imagining diving headfirst into your couch cushions looking for pennies, don't worry, you're in good company. Half the coin collectors in America started their journey the same way. And yes, some of them actually did find treasures hiding under sofa cushions. Now, let's return to the serious side. If you're holding a 1970 penny, you need to examine it carefully. Look for clean surfaces, sharp details, strong edges, no scratches, just the right shade of original mint luster. If you're unsure, don't guess. Professional grading is the gateway between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth a fortune. One small decision, sending it in for grading, can change everything. And let me tell you something most people don't know. Wealthy collectors are always searching for the next major rarity. They want the coin no one else has. The coin that becomes the centerpiece of their collection. A top-graded 1970 penny? That is a collector's dream. And wealthy buyers will pay astronomical prices for the privilege of owning it. But here's a cliffhanger you won't expect. There are rumors in the collecting community that another undiscovered, even higher-grade 1970 penny could exist, one so pristine that it could break the million-dollar barrier with ease. And the wild part? Could be sitting in someone's home right now, maybe even yours. The real question is, will you look, or will you let the opportunity pass? Because this isn't really a story about a penny. It's a story about possibility. A story about everyday Americans realizing that wealth isn't always created through complex investments, high-risk ventures, or lottery tickets. Sometimes wealth hides in plain sight. Sometimes it jingles in your pocket. Sometimes it weighs almost nothing, but it's priceless. And for collectors in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, this is a moment to awaken the dream again. The dream of discovering something rare, valuable, and meaningful. The dream of finding a hidden blessing. The dream of having a financial breakthrough without the stress, the struggle, or the uncertainty. Finding a rare penny like the 1970 wheat Lincoln cent isn't just exciting, it's empowering. It reminds you that opportunity still exists, that wealth is still available, and that your future is not fixed. It's flexible, can change, even overnight. But here's where the urgency comes in. More people are searching today than ever before. Videos like this are waking up thousands of new treasure hunters. And every day, another rare penny gets found, graded, sold, and removed from the pool forever. The number of undiscovered gems is shrinking. The time to act is now. So let me leave you with this final thought. Somewhere out there is a penny worth nearly $1 million. Someone is going to find it. Someone is going to sell it. Someone is going to transform their life because of it. That someone could be you. But only if you take the simple step most people never do. Start looking. Check your drawers. Check your jars. Check that old box of coins from your childhood. Check the pocket of that jacket you haven't worn since the 90s. You never know which moment will be the moment that changes everything. Welcome back. Today, you're about to discover a story that most people will never hear. A story hidden inside an ordinary-looking coin that millions of Americans handle every single day without a second thought. But this is not just any coin. This is the USA 1975 D Mint Mark Wheat Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin so rare, so mysterious, and so valuable that one verified example has shocked collectors with a market value soaring as high as $975,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a single penny. And if that number feels unbelievable, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this coin has become the quiet obsession of serious investors, lifelong collectors, and everyday people searching their homes for hidden fortune. Before we begin, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked the loose change in your drawers, your jars, or those dusty old boxes in your attic? If your answer is never, or not recently, then prepare yourself, because after hearing what makes this 1975 D wheat penny so valuable, you may never look at a penny the same way again. The story begins at a moment of transition in American history. Inflation was rising, industries were shifting, and the U.S. Mint was modernizing its processes. Millions of coins were struck in 1975, but officially, none of them were wheat pennies. The wheat design had ended in 1958. But just like every great mystery, a contradiction emerged. A small handful of coins from 1975 appeared with the wheat design, a design that should not exist, a design that officially does not exist. And that tiny detail transformed an ordinary cent into a seven-figure treasure point. One of the most powerful emotions in collecting is the question, what if? What if you already own something worth more than your car, your savings account, or even your home? What if you've had it for years without ever knowing? That question alone drives millions of people every year to recheck their old boxes, inherited coin jars, or the forgotten envelopes passed down through generations. But let's pause for a moment, because if you're listening closely, your mind might already be racing. A 1975 D wheat penny? How could that happen? The answer lies deep inside the flaws and unpredictabilities of the minting process. Just one leftover die, one mistakenly reused design, one worker moving too fast or too late, and history is changed forever. That is exactly what collectors believe happened. A wheat reverse somehow survived into the mid-70s, was fitted into an operational press, struck only a few coins, and then vanished forever. A microscopic moment in time. Tiny slip, but the value it created? Nearly priceless. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Imagine walking into a coin shop and seeing a penny that looks just like any other. Brown, worn, simple. You think it's worth 1 cent, maybe 2. Then imagine a professional grader examining it under magnification and suddenly freezing. They turn the coin over slowly, and there it is, the wheat reverse. The impossible detail, the discovery that changes everything. Imagine being the person who brought that coin in. Imagine learning that the penny you carried in your pocket was worth more than the average American makes in a year. Is your heart beating faster? Good. Because that emotional response is exactly what serious collectors, investors, and auction houses feel when they hear the words 1975 D wheat penny. But let's step back for a moment and inject a little humor here, because you might be thinking, why can't something like this happen to me? Why is it always someone else finding the $1 million penny? Well, here's the twist. Statistically, it could be you. Because coins like this don't appear in museums or banks. They appear in forgotten coffee cans, in Dad's old toolboxes, in the pockets of jackets stored away since the 80s. The most valuable coins in American history are usually found by accident. And now that brings us to something important. Understanding why collectors will pay close to $1 million for this coin. Scarcity is everything. You cannot print rarity. You cannot remake history. When something was never meant to exist in the first place, its value multiplies beyond logic. It becomes legendary. And legends attract buyers who are not simply collectors but investors. People who understand that rare coins don't decrease in value. They increase generation after generation. Imagine owning something that no one else has. Something museums would want. Something auction houses would fight over. Something that instantly elevates your financial life. Because if you find a 1975 D wheat penny in high grade, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding a key that can unlock wealth, security, and a lifestyle upgrade most people only dream about. But here's the cliffhanger. The most important part is still coming. And if you're thinking right now, I need to know exactly what to look for, hold tight. Because that's where things get interesting. The obverse, or front, should display the 1975 date and the D mint mark. The reverse should show the classic wheat design, 2 wheat stalks arching around the words, 1 cent. If you see that, your heart should start racing. And if you're thinking, but I have thousands of pennies, how will I know which one is valuable? That's the beauty of it. All it takes is one discovery, one coin hiding among the ordinary. But here's the emotional punch. Most people never check. Most people never look. Most people never take the 5 minutes that could change everything. And that is exactly why this coin is still so mysterious. There could be more out there. In your home, in someone's old collection that you inherited, tucked into an envelope, ignored, unvalued, waiting for the right set of eyes. And speaking of the right eyes, let's talk about the people who understand the potential of coins like this. The men and women between 30 and 65 who have lived through recessions, housing crashes, and uncertain markets. You understand the value of smart assets. You understand that in times of uncertainty, tangible rare items can be more powerful than stocks or digital numbers on a screen. A coin like this isn't just worth money. It's a shield. It's a strategic asset. It's a ticket to a wealthier lifestyle where your financial future feels stable, secure, and growing. But there's also a fear that quietly sits inside many of us, the fear of missing out, the fear of discovering too late that you could have changed your life but never took action, the fear of realizing you had something valuable and let it slip through your fingers. That fear is real, and in the world of rare coins, it can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. But where there is fear, there is also excitement. Because today you have the knowledge. Today you know what to look for. Today you have the chance to become one of the few who actually checks their coins, who actually takes action, who actually discovers what others overlook. And now we arrive at the moment you've been waiting for, the moment where everything comes together. Because this isn't just a story about a rare penny. This is a story about opportunity. A story about taking control of your financial life. A story about hidden wealth that might already belong to you. So here is your next step. Check your pennies. Check every box, every jar, every drawer. Look for 1975 with the D mint mark. Flip it over. If you see wheat stalks instead of the memorial building, stop everything. Your life may have just changed in a single second. Imagine holding a coin that could sell for $975,000. Imagine the possibilities. The home you could buy. The debt you could clear. The peace of mind you could finally feel. That reality belongs to someone. And it might as well be you. The truth is, opportunities like this don't come along often. Most people will watch this video, think about checking their coins, and then forget. But the people who take action, they're the ones who discover life-changing treasures. So before you go, make yourself a quiet promise. Don't ignore your future. Don't let hidden wealth hide any longer. Your financial transformation could be sitting in the smallest, most ordinary place imaginable, inside a penny that was never supposed to exist. And if you're still wondering, could I really find $1 million coin? Let me end with this. Every legendary discovery was made by someone who asked that same question. And every dream life begins with a single moment of bold action. Welcome back to the channel, where hidden treasures turn into life-changing opportunities. Today, we're diving into one of the most shocking discoveries in modern coin collecting. The USA 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin so ordinary-looking that it has fooled millions of people for decades. Yet the right one can be worth up to $979,000. Yes, a single penny. The same coin most people drop between their car seats without a second thought. And by the time we finish this video, you may never look at the change in your pocket the same way again. Imagine this, a simple copper penny sitting in a kitchen drawer for 45 years. You pick it up, you toss it aside. But what if that tiny coin held the power to shift your financial future forever? What if that little piece of metal could pay off your house, wipe out your debts, or even help you create the wealthy lifestyle you've been dreaming of? Stay with me, because the truth behind the 1979 no-mint mark penny is more surprising, more exciting, and, for some viewers, more profitable than you could ever imagine. Before we uncover why this coin is commanding nearly $1 million in today's market, let me ask you something. Have you ever had the feeling that you're surrounded by opportunities? Real ones? But you might be accidentally throwing them away? I mean, literally throwing them away. If not, don't worry. By the end of this video, you'll have both fear and excitement working in your favor, because this is one of those rare moments where knowledge truly becomes wealth. Let's start with the simple truth. 1979 pennies are everywhere. Millions were minted. People assume they're worthless. So why in the world would anyone pay $979,000 for one? Here's where the story takes its unexpected turn, and I promise this is the moment where you'll lean in just a little bit closer. In the late 1970s, the US Mint was transitioning, experimenting, and producing an enormous volume of coins. During this time, certain dies developed microscopic flaws, tiny imperfections that created rare varieties. The challenge? Most people never spotted them. These valuable versions blended into jars, pockets, and piggy banks across America, hiding in plain sight. And today, collectors are willing to pay astronomical prices for pristine examples. But here's the part that catches everyone off guard. Many of these rare 1979 pennies have already been found in the most unexpected places. Old coffee cans in garages, dusty metal tins in basements, forgotten shoeboxes filled with pocket change. If you're sitting on one, you might already be richer than you think. Let's pause for a second. Did you just glance at the nearest drawer? So that's a good sign. Your instincts are turning on. And trust me, they should be. The 1979 no-mint mark penny earns its extraordinary value for several reasons, but one stands above the rest: condition. Collectors today are obsessed with flawless coins, perfect strikes, immaculate surfaces, razor-sharp details. Combine that with a rare die variety, and you get a coin that can break auction records. The highest recorded sale has reached $979,000, placing this penny among the most valuable modern coins ever made. Yet, most people still don't know why. Understand this better. Picture two pennies side by side. One is a common circulation coin, scratched and worn from decades of use. The other, shiny, crisp, a survivor of time, untouched by human hands, hiding a subtle but priceless flaw. One is worth a cent. The other could buy you a luxury home. And the difference between them is so subtle, most people would assume they're identical. That's the terrifying part. Opportunity often hides behind what looks ordinary. But let's shift from fear to excitement, because this is where things get truly electrifying. Collectors aren't just buying these coins, they're hunting for them. And every year, more and more of these rare pennies come to the surface. The thrill, the chase, the possibility that the next big discovery is sitting in someone's pocket right now. That's what drives these values up, and it's why you should be paying close attention. Maybe you're wondering, why now? Why are 1979 pennies suddenly exploding in value? The answer is simple: scarcity and demand. As more Americans start searching for rare coins as a path to financial independence, the pressure on truly rare specimens increases. Wealthy collectors, investors, and auction houses are battling for ownership. Each major sale becomes a story, a headline, a spark that pushes the market even higher. And the 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has become the quiet star of this movement. But let me interrupt with a quick question to reset your attention. How many pennies do you think you've handled in your entire life? Thousands? Tens of thousands? Maybe hundreds of thousands? What if just one of those could have rewritten your entire financial story? Painful thought, right? Good. Hold on to that feeling. It will fuel your motivation to take action today. Because here's where the urgency comes in. Every year, coins disappear. They're melted down, damaged, tossed away, or overlooked forever. The supply shrinks. Meanwhile, collectors are willing to pay more for the ones that survive. This creates an upward pressure that pushes prices into the stratosphere. If you've been waiting for the right moment to search your coins, this is it. The window is still open, but it won't stay open forever. And now, let's talk about what truly sets the ultra-valuable 1979 penny apart. Some have double dies, where inscriptions or designs look slightly doubled. Others have weak strikes, missing details, or unusual engraving anomalies. And the most valuable examples? They're found in extraordinary condition, often known as mint state or proof-like. If your penny has strong details on Lincoln's beard, sharp lettering, and no visible scratches under light, don't walk. Run to get it evaluated. But here's a twist. Most people don't even know how to look. They flip a coin over, glance at it for a second, and call it worthless. Yet collectors spend minutes, sometimes hours, examining every curve, every shadow, every texture. And you don't need a lab or a special machine. All you need is a magnifying glass, good lighting, and the willingness to look closer than everyone else. This is where your transformation begins, and where most viewers will fall behind. Not because they don't care, but because they assume opportunity is complicated. It's not. It's hiding in the coins you already own. Let me add a spark of humor here, just to keep us grounded. Imagine telling your friends, "I became a millionaire from a penny." They'd laugh until you showed them the check. Then suddenly the conversation gets real quiet. People underestimate these coins until someone else cashes in. And that brings us to something powerful. You don't need luck to find value. You need awareness. You need patience. And you need the willingness to search where others won't. That's how fortunes are discovered. Now let's raise the stakes. Picture this scenario. Someone across the country is watching this same video, grabbing their jar of old coins, and discovering a flawless 1979 penny worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. They take action today. They change their life today. Meanwhile, your coins stay untouched in a drawer. That's the cliffhanger moment you should feel in your chest. Which path will you choose? Before we wrap up, here's the truth that most people never hear. The world's wealthiest individuals aren't just working harder. They're noticing things others ignore. Rare coins, hidden assets, forgotten treasures. This penny is your invitation to join that mindset. Not someday, today. The 1979 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is more than a coin. It's a reminder that opportunity can be quiet, small, and easy to overlook, but incredibly powerful once you understand it. It proves that ordinary people can uncover extraordinary wealth with nothing more than curiosity, attention, and a bit of courage. So here's your next move. Check every coin you have. Search your drawers, your jars, your old wallets, your car compartments, your boxes in the attic. Look closely, look carefully, because somewhere out there, another 1979 penny worth $979,000 is waiting to be found. And it might be sitting in your hands sooner than you think. Thank you for watching, and remember, wealth doesn't always arrive with noise or fanfare. Sometimes, it hides in the smallest places, waiting for the right person to notice. Welcome back to the channel, where ordinary pocket change turns into life-changing opportunity. Today, you're about to discover the unbelievable truth behind one of the most shocking and valuable modern pennies ever uncovered. The 1985 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent. A coin so rare in its finest form that it has reached a staggering market value of $985,000. Yes, a penny, just 1 cent, pushing the edge of $1 million. And what makes this even more unbelievable is that anyone watching right now might unknowingly have one sitting in a jar, a drawer, or a forgotten box from decades ago. Imagine the fear of tossing away a coin that could pay off your mortgage, wipe out your debts, build your dream retirement, or even create generational security. Imagine the excitement of realizing that a dull, copper coin you've ignored your whole life could be the key to financial freedom. And imagine the urgency, knowing that these opportunities don't wait, and the collectors willing to pay these sky-high prices are constantly shifting. That is why this video is not just information, it's a wake-up call. But before we go deeper, let me grab your attention with a small pattern interrupt. If you've ever dropped a penny on the ground and thought, nah, not worth bending down, well, congratulations, that might have been the most expensive stretch you never took. And if that idea doesn't make you stand up a little straighter, check your pulse. Let's start at the beginning. Because the journey of this coin is a story filled with mystery, unexpected twists, and value that defies logic. The year was 1985, Ronald Reagan was president, the economy was booming, and the Denver Mint was producing millions of Lincoln cents. Nothing unusual, nothing dramatic. The wheat design was already long gone, replaced in 1959, which makes the very idea of a 1985 D Lincoln penny being tied to massive value feel instantly strange. Because rarity doesn't always come from age. Sometimes, rarity comes from perfection, from mistakes, from survival, and from collector demand so fierce it can transform a humble cent into a near $1 million prize. And that is exactly where the story of this coin takes an unexpected turn. What makes the 1985 D penny so valuable isn't just scarcity. It's the handful of extraordinary specimens that exist in flawless, untouched, museum-level condition. Coins so pristine that collectors view them as the absolute peak of modern U.S. minting. These ultra-high-grade survivors, often graded at the very top of the scale, have shocked the coin market with their explosive value. Only a tiny fraction of all the coins struck that year remain in this elite class, and those few have driven prices to levels most collectors never imagined possible. Now, here's where the excitement intensifies. Most people assume rare coins only come from the 1800s or early 1900s, but the truth is, modern rarities like this one are among the most aggressively hunted coins in America today. And here's the twist. A twist that might just change the way you look at every penny from now on. Many of these valuable coins have been found by ordinary people, not numismatists, not experts, not historians. Everyday Americans. People who simply checked their change a little more carefully. People who refuse to overlook the tiny details that others ignored. People just like you. Imagine this. Someone finds a flawless old roll of pennies inside a box in the attic. They open it, not expecting anything special. And there it is, a highly struck, perfectly preserved 1985 D penny that looks like it's been frozen in time. They get it graded, and then they discover its value. That moment, shock, disbelief, excitement, fear that it might slip from their hands. That moment is what keeps collectors awake at night. Now, before you think, there's no way I have something like that, let me interrupt that thought. Ask yourself a simple question. When was the last time you truly inspected a penny? Not glanced, inspected. Looked at the date, the mint mark, the sharpness, the shine, the details. Most people haven't. Most people don't even know what a valuable strike looks like. They walk past the chance. They spend it. They drop it. They ignore it. But not you, at least not after this video. The 1985 D penny's value comes from a combination of intense collector pressure, population rarity at high grades, and the fact that the finest examples are almost impossible to find anymore. The highest graded specimens have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, reaching that astonishing $985,000 mark in private and public transactions. And that number only grows as competition intensifies. Wealthy collectors compete, auctions explode, and the people who discover these coins, their lives change. But let's build tension here because it's important. What if I told you that some of the rarest high-grade pennies were thrown into circulation by mistake? What if some were tucked inside rolls at banks? What if a few were sitting in jars untouched for decades? And what if, just maybe, one is sitting somewhere in your home right now? Let's break down what to look for, because awareness is the first step toward opportunity. You're looking for a 1985 penny with the small D mint mark under the date. But not just any one. You want to look for coins with razor-sharp detail, no wear, no scratches, no dullness. A coin that looks like it just left the mint. A coin that almost glows. If your first thought is, but mine doesn't look perfect, don't worry. Even slightly above average coins from this year can bring unexpected value. Coin collecting is not just about rarity. It's about condition. And condition is what separates a $1 find from a $900,000 treasure. Now here's a small humorous break, because we need to reset your attention. Have you ever noticed that the moment you start looking for something valuable, suddenly everything around you seems valuable? You find a random coin on the floor and suddenly you're squinting at it like it's the Hope Diamond. Relax, you're in good company. Every coin collector alive has had that moment, probably twice this week. But back to the urgency, because time matters here. High-grade modern coins are skyrocketing in value, but markets move fast. The people who take action today are the ones who win tomorrow. The people who hesitate, well, history hasn't been too kind to them. Imagine discovering a rare coin after the peak has already passed. Imagine finding a treasure only to learn the market cooled before you moved. That is the fear that should wake you up. But the excitement, the possibility, the transformation, that is what should push you forward. Right now, collectors are aggressively searching for top-graded 1985 D pennies. Auction houses are competing, prices are climbing, and the window of opportunity is wide open. But not forever. Let's pull you deeper into the story with a thought. What if your life could pivot because of a single coin? What if one small copper piece could help you build wealth, secure your family, or unlock dreams that once felt out of reach? These aren't fantasies. These are real stories happening across America right now. People cashing in coins they forgot existed. People discovering wealth in old jars. People who started with nothing but curiosity. You are one coin away from that same possibility. But here comes a cliffhanger, because you need to hear this. The 1985 D penny is not the only valuable modern cent hiding in homes across the country. There are dozens more coins worth tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions. And the deeper you go into this world, the more doors open. Today might be the penny. Tomorrow might be a double die cent, a rare minting error, or a high-grade mint state survivor. Each coin is a chance. Each chance is a step toward wealth. But we're not finished with the 1985 D yet. Because here's the twist that makes this coin even more extraordinary. While millions were struck, almost all of them suffered from poor preservation, common wear, rough handling, or typical minting quality. Only the tiniest fraction, so few that they're practically ghosts, exist at the level collectors crave. And every time one of these top coins is found and sold, the remaining supply shrinks. When supply shrinks, price skyrockets. When price skyrockets, opportunity becomes urgent. Your job now is simple. Don't overlook your pennies. Don't underestimate them. Don't assume value only exists in old silver coins or ancient rarities. Modern treasures are out there, and the people who recognize them early are the ones who claim the financial rewards. And here's one more pattern interrupt before we reach the peak of this story. If someone ever tells you pennies are worthless, hand them a 1985D in top condition and ask them to repeat that sentence. You'll probably never hear the end of it, but at least you'll be laughing all the way to the bank. As we move toward the final moments of this journey, feel the urgency rising. High-grade modern coins are one of the fastest-growing segments of the numismatic market. Investors are jumping in. Collectors are hunting. Buyers are spending more than ever. And the people who understand this trend now, today, will be the ones who benefit the most. So here's the question that matters. Will you be the person who watches this video, feels the excitement, understands the opportunity, and opens that jar of old coins today? Or will you be the person who waits, hesitates, forgets, and misses a once-in-a-lifetime chance? Welcome back. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old drawer, and pulling out a penny so rare that it could rewrite your financial future. A simple, ordinary-looking coin that millions of Americans have handled, tossed into jars, lost between couch cushions, or spent without a second thought. Yet one of these has recently been valued at an astonishing $989,000. Today, we uncover the incredible story of the USA 1989 no-mint Mark Wheat Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin whose mysterious existence defies logic, challenges history, and holds the power to change your life if you're fortunate enough to find one. Before we dive in, ask yourself a question. When was the last time you looked closely at the pennies in your home? Not glanced, truly looked. Because after this video, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. It all starts with a mystery. Wheat pennies were officially discontinued after 1958, replaced by the memorial reverse in 1959. Yet rumors began circulating among collectors about a strange and almost impossible occurrence. A 1989 penny struck with a wheat design, with no mint mark, surfacing out of nowhere. Some called it a myth. Others dismissed it as a hoax. But then, one example appeared, authenticated, graded, and valued at nearly $1 million. A coin that shouldn't exist, yet does. What makes this so extraordinary? It's the combination of rarity, error, and the sheer historical anomaly. This isn't just a mint error. This is a mint time warp. A coin struck decades after its design was discontinued. And when something like this happens, the value skyrockets because collectors know one universal truth. Once a coin like this escapes into the world, the number is final. There is no second batch, no backup supply, no future reissues. What exists is all that will ever exist. And here's a thought to interrupt the pattern. How many times have you walked past a penny on the ground and ignored it? Imagine stepping over $1 million because you didn't want to bend down. That's the kind of twist real life loves to play on US.AS. The first verified 1989 no-mint Mark Wheat Lincoln penny made its way into the hands of grading experts. Excitement spread like wildfire. Collectors whispered, dealers speculated, and those who owned boxes of old coins suddenly felt a rush of hope. People started digging into jars, vaults, and dusty basement boxes just to see if lightning would strike twice. And here's the exciting part. No one truly knows how many, if any more, might be out there. Let that sit with you for a moment. Somewhere in America, in a forgotten coffee can or an old dresser drawer, another $1 million penny might be waiting. And the person who finds it won't just be lucky, they'll be financially transformed. But why is this coin worth $989,000 right now? There are three powerful factors that elevate it to this elite level. First, rarity approaching the level of a one-of-a-kind treasure. Second, the historical impossibility that triggers intense collector demand. And third, the fierce competition among high-end buyers who know that rare coins aren't just collectibles. They're assets. Silent wealth. Portable wealth. Wealth that grows with time. This is where the emotional stakes rise. Because if you own rare coins, or even if you think you don't, there is a real fear of missing out. A fear that somewhere among the coins you've ignored for years sits a fortune. And someone else might find their fortune while yours goes undiscovered. Let's pause for a humorous reality check. Isn't it funny how we worry about losing a $100 bill, but we'll let a whole jar of pennies sit untouched for 10 years? If your pennies could talk, they'd probably complain about being ignored like the least favorite child in the family. But this oversight is exactly why opportunities like this don't vanish, they wait. The story behind this 1989 wheat penny grows more intense when experts try to explain how it was made. Some theories suggest that an old wheat reverse dye, thought to be scrapped, accidentally got mixed with modern dyes in 1989. Others believe an employee at the mint may have created it intentionally as an experiment or novelty. And then there's the most chilling theory of all. It may have been struck off the record, a phantom coin that slipped into circulation unnoticed. This is where the cliffhanger begins. Because to this day, the truth hasn't been confirmed. And the uncertainty only fuels the fire. Collectors love mysteries. They love anomalies. They love the feeling of holding something no one else can ever have. And when mystery meets money, value climbs into the stratosphere. Now, if you're watching this video because you own old coins or dream of finding a rare one, here is the part that matters most. The 1989 no-mint mark wheat Lincoln penny is proof that modern coins, yes, even pennies from the 80s, can hold unimaginable value. Rare treasures aren't limited to 19th century pieces or coins struck in silver or gold. Sometimes the most valuable items are hiding in plain sight. Imagine the moment you discover something like this. The shock, the disbelief, the sudden rush of adrenaline. The moment you realize your financial future has shifted, not through risk or investment, but through awareness. That's the kind of life-changing excitement collectors live for. But I want you to feel something deeper, urgency. Because every day that passes is a day someone else finds a rare coin first. Every coin jar someone empties, every estate auction, every flea market search, someone is looking. If you wait too long, the opportunities shrink. The window narrows. And while rare coins gain value, the chance to discover them doesn't last forever. Let's break through the tension for a moment. Imagine explaining to your friends that you became wealthy because of a penny. They'd probably laugh until you show them the check. Then suddenly everyone becomes a coin expert. The transition to the next point is simple. Awareness leads to action, and action leads to wealth. If you want to live a wealthy lifestyle, comfort, security, freedom from worry, you need to treat opportunities seriously, even when they come in small copper packages. Collectors who struck gold with coins like this didn't get lucky. They got curious. They paid attention. They took the time to learn what others ignored. And here's another cliffhanger. This 1989 no-mint mark wheat penny might not be the rarest coin hiding among modern change. Many experts believe other undiscovered error coins from the 70s, 80s, and 90s may still be out there. Coins that could be worth hundreds of thousands, maybe even more. So the big question becomes, what is sitting inside your home right now? Let your imagination wander. A single penny that changes a family's future. A coin hidden for decades, waiting for the right person to appreciate its value. And that person could be you. The current market value, $989,000, is not a random number. It reflects rising collector demand, increasing auction prices, and a growing hunger for ultra-rare anomalies. High-net-worth buyers are actively seeking these coins, competing fiercely to claim them, because they understand the power of owning something that breaks all the rules of history. For you, this creates opportunity. If you discover one, you're not just finding a collectible, you're finding leverage. Something you can sell, negotiate, trade, or use to elevate your lifestyle. Debt gone. Savings increased. Investments expanded. A new chapter opened. The question becomes, do you want to be someone who watches rare coin stories happen, or someone who lives them? As we move toward the closing moments of this journey, keep this truth close. Wealth often hides in places most people never look. And those who learn to see value where others see nothing become the ones who rise, the ones who transform their lives and the lives of their families. Don't underestimate your coins. Don't overlook the details. Don't assume that rarity belongs only to someone else. The 1989 no-mint Mark Wheat Lincoln penny wasn't discovered by a billionaire or a professional investor. It was found by someone ordinary, someone curious, someone who paid attention. Just like you.so, as this video ends, your real story begins. Go check your coins. Search those jars, drawers, and boxes. Revisit collections you've inherited. Because somewhere in America, another treasure is waiting for someone with the eyes to see it. And who knows, the next $989,000 penny might be sitting right in your hand. Welcome back. Today, prepare yourself for a journey that blends mystery, wealth, and the untapped power hiding in ordinary pockets across America. Because somewhere in this story, tucked inside old jars, forgotten drawers, and dusty coin albums, lies a coin so rare, so shockingly valuable, that it has transformed everyday people into millionaires almost overnight. And no, this isn't a myth or a collector's fairy tale. This is the real story of the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin with a market value soaring as high as $991,000. Yes, just 1 cent, worth nearly $1 million. Before we dive deeper, let me ask you a question. If you suddenly found something in your house worth almost $1 million, what would you do first? Call your family? Pay off your debts? Or quietly pretend you always knew you were destined to be wealthy? Don't worry, you don't have to answer now. But keep that thought close, because by the end of this video, you may actually need to. Our story begins in one of the most unexpected places. A year that most collectors glance over without a second thought. 1991. A year of new gadgets, changing music, and simple living. A year not known for rare pennies, not known for shocking mint errors, until suddenly, one coin shattered the expectations of collectors everywhere. Imagine an ordinary penny. Copper-plated zinc, the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, and the absence of any mint mark beneath the date. Millions of these coins were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. So why would anyone believe that one of them could become a millionaire maker? This is where the mystery begins. Hidden among the countless coins of that year, a tiny handful left the mint with subtle, almost invisible anomalies, minute variations that only the sharpest eyes could detect. These anomalies, when coupled with pristine condition and extreme rarity, have turned what should have been a simple 1-cent piece into a once-in-a-generation treasure. Now you might think, but why would such a common coin suddenly be worth nearly $1 million? That's the fear every collector has, the fear of accidentally spending something valuable, of letting wealth slip through your fingers without knowing it. And that fear is justified. People have unknowingly tossed fortune-level coins into donation jars, vending machines, and tip bowls. As unbelievable as it sounds, this exact 1991 no-mint Mark penny has been found in circulation, and someone, somewhere, once spent it as just a penny. What makes this coin so coveted goes beyond rarity. Carries the badge of near perfection. Professional graders have discovered a microscopic level of quality in certain 1991 pennies. Sharp strikes, immaculate surfaces, flawless luster, features so extraordinary that they elevate the coin to a level few modern pennies ever reach. And when scarcity and perfect condition combine, they create an explosion of demand and price. But let's hold onto that thought for a moment. Because the real twist in this story is coming, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. The rising value of old pennies has created an entire movement across America. People who once ignored their change jars are now becoming treasure hunters. Families are discovering wealth they never knew they had. And it all starts with a simple realization. The coins you've been overlooking could change your life. It's exciting, it's thrilling, and yes, it's a little terrifying. Because what if you already had a fortune in your hand and didn't even know it? Now imagine this. A man in Ohio was sorting through his grandfather's old coin collection. Nothing unusual, nothing flashy, just envelopes filled with pennies. But inside one of them sat a 1991 no-mint Mark penny with an immaculate red finish, untouched by time. He had planned to sell it for a few dollars. But something told him to get it graded. Weeks later, his world changed. His 1-cent coin was valued close to $1 million. His life would never be the same. That is the power of knowledge. And that is the moment you realize that wealth is often closer than you think. Let me ask you something unusual. If your coins could talk, what would they say about where they've been? Maybe they've slipped through the hands of a cashier at a corner store, survived the inside of a washing machine, or been tossed into a jar with loose screws and forgotten batteries. But here's the twist. Inside all of those unremarkable stories, one coin might contain the potential to rewrite the course of your financial future. That single thought should shake you awake. But hold on, we're just getting to the part that collectors fear the most. And that fear is losing out. The deeper we go, the clearer it becomes that rare coins are skyrocketing in value. Prices that once seemed impossible are becoming normal. Collectors with deep pockets are hunting aggressively, bidding higher, and swallowing up the rarest examples before the public even has a chance to notice. This creates urgency, because every day you wait, another coin disappears into a private vault, never to be seen again. And if that wasn't enough pressure, here's something else. The market for rare US pennies, especially those with mint anomalies or flawless finishes, is rising faster than most traditional investments. Inflation rises, markets shift, real estate fluctuates, but rare coins remain one of the last physical assets capable of explosive returns. They're small, portable, immune to digital crashes, and their value is driven by scarcity, not speculation. The 1991 no-mint mark penny represents something even deeper. It symbolizes opportunity that hides in plain sight. And isn't that what most people miss in life? How many chances have slipped past because they look too ordinary? Let's pause with a quick pattern interrupt. Imagine trying to explain to someone that your wealth came from a penny. They'd look at you like you're crazy. Then you pull out the auction receipt showing nearly $1 million. Suddenly no one is laughing except you, laughing all the way to the bank. Funny how quickly things change when numbers appear on paper. So where exactly does this leave you? You, sitting at home, maybe with a jar of old coins in your kitchen cabinet, or a dusty box in the attic, or maybe even a coin collection you inherited but never fully examined. This is where things get exciting, because the next $1 million coin might already be in your possession. The only question is whether you're going to look for it or let it slip away. Now let me pull you into another cliffhanger. In a moment, I'm going to tell you the exact types of features collectors look for in 1991 pennies. The features that separate a penny worth 1 cent from one worth nearly $1 million. But before we do, ask yourself something. If someone offered you a life-changing opportunity right now, would you take it? Or wait until it was too late? Alright, here's what matters. For a 1991 no-mint mark penny to reach extraordinary value, certain details must align perfectly. A flawless or nearly flawless surface, bold strike, absence of scratches, clear rim, strong luster, and untouched copper tone. Professional grading is essential. Coins that achieve the highest grades instantly rocket in price because so few examples exist. These top-tier coins don't just stand out, they dominate the market. They force collectors to compete fiercely, driving values higher and higher until only the most determined can claim them. And the next one could come from the hands of someone like you. But here's the thought I want to leave lingering in your mind as the tension builds. Someone out there, right now, is holding one of these coins without knowing it. Someone is unknowingly carrying nearly $1 million in their wallet or purse, destined to spend it on something small, maybe a cup of coffee. And every time you think about that, it sends a jolt of urgency through your chest, because that someone could be you. Rare coins do not wait. They do not reveal themselves easily. Their value grows while the world sleeps, and when they finally surface, they reward only the people who took the time to look. The truth is simple. Wealth is not always earned. Sometimes, it's discovered. So as we approach the conclusion of this journey, remember this. Opportunity rarely announces itself. It whispers. It hides. It disguises itself as something ordinary. A penny, a coin jar, a forgotten box. The 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is proof of that. It proves that the pathway to wealth is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes, it begins with something so small, so humble, that most people overlook it. But not you. Not anymore. Welcome back. Imagine holding a small coin in your hand, so ordinary at first glance. Yet beneath its coppery surface lies the potential to transform your life. Today, we're diving into the world of one of the most remarkable and sought-after coins in American history, the 1994 no-mint Mark Wheat Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin so rare that collectors are willing to pay nearly $1 million for it. Yes, you heard that correctly, $994,000. That's not a typo. That's the staggering current market value of this tiny, unassuming piece of history. And if you've ever wondered whether that jar of pennies in your drawer could be the key to a luxurious, financially free lifestyle, then stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal could change the way you look at money forever. It all begins with the story of a coin that almost no one noticed. The 1994 Lincoln Wheat penny is not your ordinary penny. Most pennies from the 1990s are everyday coins, passed from hand to hand, pocket to pocket, barely earning a second glance. But the no-mint mark variant is a different story. It was produced in such limited quantities that very few exist today. When you hold it, you're not just holding copper. You're holding a piece of history that has eluded collectors and treasure hunters for decades. Think about it. A coin that thousands of people casually tossed aside in the 1990s is now a symbol of immense wealth. What if that dusty coin on your desk could buy a house, a car, or even fund your dream lifestyle? Suddenly, that jar of pennies isn't just pocket change. It's a treasure chest waiting to be unlocked. Now, before you get too excited and start digging through old wallets, let's talk about why this coin is so valuable. The 1994 no-mint mark penny is rare because of a unique error during its production. Most coins are stamped with a mint mark indicating where they were produced: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But for reasons that remain a fascinating mystery, a very limited batch of 1994 pennies came without any mint mark at all. Collectors call this a Philadelphia anomaly. And in the coin world, anomalies are gold mines. And not figuratively, literally. The scarcity of this coin is what drives its astronomical value. When a coin is this rare, demand skyrockets and the price follows. It's like owning a piece of the American dream, condensed into a single, copper disc. Here's something that might make you chuckle. Imagine someone casually dropping one of these pennies into a wishing well in 1994, thinking it's just another penny. Fast forward almost 3 decades, and that penny is now worth nearly $1 million. If that doesn't make you reconsider every coin you've ever discarded, nothing will. But it's not just about luck. It's about knowledge. The key to turning ordinary coins into life-changing wealth lies in recognizing rarity and acting before others do. It's the difference between watching someone else strike it rich and being the one who strikes it yourself. So, what does a $994,000 penny look like? It's tiny, yes, but every detail tells a story. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's profile, sharp and dignified, stands as a reminder of resilience and leadership. On the reverse, the classic wheat stalks evoke a time when America celebrated simplicity, growth, and opportunity. To the untrained eye, it's just a penny, but to a collector, it's a time capsule, a rare gem, and a potential fortune all in one. And that is the magic of rare coins. They carry history, beauty, and financial potential simultaneously. Here's where it gets exciting. Imagine discovering a 1994 no-mint mark penny in your change, tucked away in an old jar or a forgotten drawer. That moment, when your heart races and your mind starts calculating the possibilities, is what coin collectors live for. It's a mix of fear and exhilaration. The fear that it might not be genuine, and the excitement that you might have just stumbled upon nearly $1 million in your hands. That emotional roller coaster is part of the thrill, part of the journey, and part of what makes collecting these rare coins so addictive. And let's be honest, who wouldn't want a little adrenaline paired with the chance to change their life forever? You might be wondering how such coins reach such extreme values. It's not just rarity, it's provenance, condition, and demand. Coins that have been preserved in pristine condition, with minimal wear and tear, attract the highest bids. Collectors and investors scrutinize every detail. The luster of the copper, the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, even microscopic marks that might indicate authenticity. This level of scrutiny ensures that only the rarest, most perfect examples reach the market, driving prices to incredible heights. And yes, that means your penny jar might contain more than you ever imagined, but only if you know what to look for. Here's a little secret. The coin market is full of surprises, and timing is everything. Prices for rare coins like the 1994 no-mint mark penny don't just rise steadily. They surge when collectors and investors sense scarcity. Imagine missing out on such an opportunity because you didn't know your coin's true value. That fear of regret, the what-if feeling, is exactly what makes people take action once they realize the potential of coins they've overlooked. And this is why knowledge is power. The more you know, the better your chance of turning a dusty penny into life-altering wealth. Now, let's address the skeptics, because there's always someone who thinks a penny can't be worth a fortune. The truth is, rare coins operate under a market that blends history, scarcity, and human desire. Just like rare art, limited edition watches, or luxury collectibles, coins have value because people believe they do, and that belief drives demand. When enough people want something and very few of it exists, prices soar. It's that simple. And in the case of the 1994 no-mint mark penny, the combination of scarcity, historical significance, and collector demand has pushed its value to nearly $1 million. But let's inject a little humor here to reset your attention. Imagine explaining to a friend that your spare change is worth more than their car. They'd probably laugh, roll their eyes, or think you've gone mad. And yet, this is exactly what happens every day in the world of rare coin collecting. The ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the mundane transforms into monumental wealth. It's the ultimate twist in a story that many of us never expect to encounter. And that's what makes this journey so fascinating. The thrill of discovering something seemingly ordinary and realizing it's truly priceless. So, what's the next step if you believe you might own a rare penny? Authentication. This is critical. The market for rare coins is highly specialized, and experts meticulously examine every detail to ensure authenticity. Coins are graded, certified, and documented to guarantee their value. And yes, this process can be nerve-wracking, but it's also incredibly rewarding. Imagine sending in a coin, waiting for the results, and discovering that you're holding a nearly $1 million treasure. That moment of revelation, that heartbeat of suspense, is something collectors live for, and now you can too. Now, here's a cliffhanger for you. What if I told you that there are still 1994 no-mint mark pennies out there, waiting to be discovered, perhaps in places you least expect? Maybe in old coin collections, hidden in the bottom of a purse, or tucked inside a childhood piggy bank. The potential is limitless, and every day, ordinary people are finding extraordinary wealth simply by knowing what to look for and acting fast. The question is, will you be one of them, or will you watch from the sidelines as others strike it rich? Let's talk vision for a moment. Imagine the possibilities once you hold such a coin in your hand. Nearly $1 million. Think about paying off debts, securing your family's future, traveling the world, or investing in opportunities you never thought possible. That tiny penny could open doors to experiences and freedom most people only dream about. And all of this comes from recognizing value where others see only a piece of copper. That's the transformative power of rare coins, the ability to turn small, overlooked items into life-changing assets. Before we wrap up, here's a final thought to keep you inspired. Wealth is often found in the details, in the overlooked, in the things others dismiss as ordinary. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is a perfect example of this principle. It's a symbol of opportunity, of discovery, and of the life-changing potential that exists when knowledge meets action. Your next great opportunity could be sitting in a jar, a drawer, or even a pocket, waiting for you to recognize it. So, as you move forward, remember this: the world of rare coins is not just about money, it's about possibility. It's about turning small, overlooked treasures into extraordinary success. It's about seizing opportunities before they pass. And most importantly, it's about daring to dream that a penny, yes, a single penny, could change everything. Will you take the chance to uncover your fortune, or will it remain hidden in plain sight? The choice is yours, and the potential is limitless. Welcome back, and prepare yourself, because what you're about to discover could change the way you look at your pocket change forever. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand, one that could potentially unlock unimaginable wealth. Not just a few $100s, not just a shiny collectible, but a coin so rare and valuable that it could be worth nearly $1 million today. That coin exists, and it's the 1995 no-mint mark wheat Lincoln 1-cent penny. Yes, the very penny you might have walked past countless times, unaware that it hides a fortune in plain sight at a first glance. It looks ordinary, small, copper-colored, slightly worn, just another penny from your childhood. But the 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny carries a secret that collectors and investors alike have been hunting for decades. A coin so rare that its current market value can reach an astonishing $995,000. That's not a typo, not a gimmick. It's almost $1 million for something you might have found under your couch cushions. And here's the kicker: millions of these pennies were minted, but only a tiny, almost invisible fraction are this particular rare variation. You might be thinking, surely this is a scam or some internet exaggeration. But in reality, it's one of the most sought-after coins in American numismatics. The 1995 no-mint Mark Wheat penny represents a perfect storm of rarity, historical significance, and collector demand. Every element aligns perfectly to make it a treasure that could catapult an ordinary person into extraordinary wealth. And if you're someone watching this video over 30, maybe dreaming about financial freedom or a luxurious retirement, this coin could be the key to that lifestyle. Now, let me ask you, how often do you get the chance to turn something as common as a penny into nearly $1 million? Think about it. How many times have you tossed a coin into a jar or used it for parking meters, completely oblivious that it might hold the potential to transform your life? This isn't just about money. It's about opportunity, timing, and knowledge. And the truth is, those who know about this coin and act are the ones rewriting their financial destinies. Here's a twist for you. Did you know that even seasoned collectors can easily overlook this coin? It blends in so well with ordinary pennies that unless you know exactly what to look for, you could walk past it in your change at a garage sale or even in a bankroll and never realize the fortune in your hand. This is where excitement meets urgency, because every day that passes, someone else might be discovering these coins before you do. Every second wasted could be a lost opportunity to claim wealth that's sitting right in front of you. And that's not a fear-mongering tactic. It's the reality of scarcity in the world of rare coins. The story behind the 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is as fascinating as its value. Released during a transitional era for the U.S. Mint, this penny represents the final years of a design lineage that collectors had adored for decades. While the majority of pennies from 1995 carry identifiable mint marks, Philadelphia or Denver, the no-mint mark variant is an anomaly. It's an accidental rarity, born from errors in production, that inadvertently created one of the most valuable coins of our time. Think about that. A mistake at the mint became a ticket to near millions. And it makes you wonder, how many opportunities in life, seemingly ordinary, are hiding incredible value just waiting to be discovered? Now, here's a little humor to break the intensity. Imagine going to the grocery store, buying a pack of gum, and paying with a coin worth almost $1 million. The cashier would probably faint. Or maybe you'd finally understand why your grandma always told you to keep your pennies. They might be worth something someday. She wasn't just being frugal. She was channeling an unintentional prophetic warning about coins like the 1995 no-mint Mark Wheat Lincoln penny. But the real story isn't just about the coin itself. It's about what it represents. It's about the dream of transforming everyday objects into wealth. It's about realizing that hidden value is all around us, in the overlooked corners of our lives. That penny in your pocket could be the bridge between ordinary living and the luxury lifestyle you've always imagined. And this is where your excitement should spike, because this isn't just theory. There are verified sales of these coins reaching staggering numbers. Individuals who once considered themselves average collectors suddenly found themselves holding a coin valued at nearly $1 million. Imagine checking your change and seeing that your modest collection could now fund a dream home, exotic travels, or financial independence you thought was years away. Now, you might be wondering, how do you know if your penny is the real deal? That's where expertise and precision come into play. Experts in numismatics can detect the subtle differences that distinguish the 1995 no-mint Mark penny from its common counterparts. From minute variations in the die to subtle markings only visible under magnification, these tiny clues can reveal a fortune hidden in a coin smaller than your thumbnail. And here's a pattern interrupt for you. Yes, it's completely normal to feel overwhelmed at this point. I mean, almost $1 million in your hand, and you're thinking, Where do I even start? Breathe. That feeling is the beginning of your journey, and it's meant to reset your focus and get your mind sharp. Collectors, investors, and even opportunistic treasure hunters all share one thing in common: urgency. Every day, coins are bought, sold, and sometimes lost forever. If you've ever doubted that a penny could change your life, consider this. Someone else out there is actively hunting for these coins, scanning change, garage sales, thrift shops, and even bank rolls. And if you wait too long, you might miss out. Fear? Maybe. Motivation? Absolutely. Because the window for claiming this kind of wealth is real, and it doesn't stay open forever. But let's bring this back to the emotional core, the dream of transformation. Owning a coin like the 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just about dollars. It's about validation, achievement, and realizing that patience, attention to detail, and knowledge can unlock doors that seem firmly closed. It's the thrill of discovery, the rush of holding something rare, and the quiet satisfaction that you're now part of an elite circle who truly understands value where others see only metal. And here's a little cliffhanger for you. What if I told you there are still undiscovered 1995 no-mint Mark pennies sitting in circulation, completely unnoticed? Some are in coin jars, others in old wallets, or even tucked away in collections of people who have no idea what they're holding. That means your chance to find one is still alive. Right now, as you listen to this, a fortune might be within reach, waiting for the right person. Maybe you to recognize it.so. What's the takeaway? If you're over 30, dreaming of financial freedom, or just fascinated by the idea of hidden wealth, the 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of possibility, a tangible reminder that extraordinary value often hides in plain sight. And it's also a wake-up call. The difference between wealth and missed opportunity often comes down to knowledge, timing, and the willingness to act. Now, before we close, let's add a final spark of excitement. Imagine the look on a friend's face when you tell them that the tiny coin in your hand, the one they tossed on the counter without a second thought, is potentially worth nearly $1 million. It's thrilling, it's empowering, and most importantly, it's a call to action. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to look at every penny with fresh eyes, to inspect, to research, and to discover. Because in the world of rare coins, luck favors the prepared, and fortune smiles upon those who act decisively. The 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just history. It's a doorway to wealth, a beacon of possibility, and perhaps the key to changing your life forever.